the Fed is slowly moving in its latest policy evolutions toward just targeting the thing that it's best able to target and that will generate the best results. But that still might leave some questions out there for skeptics of nominal GDP targeting, or indeed of monetary policy in general. And I think the argument might be, looking back at this sort of checkered past, do we really want the Fed involved in monetary policy making? Does that not just increase the odds that they'll do something wrong and create more pain for everyone? And I think there are three responses to that, at least as I think about the problem. The first, I think, is that we have seen that good monetary policy making can have beneficial effects on the real economy and can alleviate suffering. And alleviation of suffering is a good goal to have. There's no moral content to recessions. They're really just the impact of a change in expectations that leads to an imbalance between what people want to save and what people want to spend and invest. No one is being punished for behaving badly. And so if the Fed can step in there and address that imbalance and alleviate suffering, then by all means they should do so. I think a follow-up point to that is that recessions are bad in the way that they break the connection between individual actions and economic outcomes. When a recession hits, the good and bad are punished alike. People who made sound loans go bust. People who worked hard lose their jobs. And if you're interested in personal responsibility and in trying to get incentives right, it's important to try to get the demand side right to make sure that those incentives remain as we'd like them to be. And then a final point I would make is that letting sort of monetary policy go off on its own or tying it to a commodity standard is not going to get rid of the pressure for intervention in the economy. It's just going to shift it elsewhere. What it's going to do is shift it to the fiscal authorities, to Congress. And I think that in general is something that we've learned to be very wary of. The failures of monetary policy in the Depression led to protectionism. They led to the New Deal and to quite a lot of new interventions in the economy, to the expansion of the welfare state and so on. And I think that we can also say that the failures of monetary policy in 2008 led directly to things like TARP, to the stimulus, which I suspect some people in this room were not too fond of, to other interventions in the economy. And so from a political economy perspective, we need to realize there's going to be a demand for actions to stabilize the macroeconomy. And we can leave that in the hands of monetary authorities for the most part, or we can leave it to people who will tend to do things in a much more heavy-handed and permanent way. My choice is obviously in favor of the monetary approach.